With me now on set is political reporter for The Washington Post, Philip Bump, and in Washington, CBSN political contributor and Republican strategist Leslie Sanchez. All right, Leslie, let's start with you. Donald Trump seemed to suggest last week a quote-unquote softening on immigration, and after months of promoting a deportation force, he now seems to have shied away. What's your take on it?
It's definitely an important and welcome move. It has a lot to do with the fact that there is an inability to grow many of these, the base of support with white independents and certainly the Hispanic community without making an adjustment on such harsh tactics that fundamentally don't work. It's almost impossible to build a contiguous U.S. wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. And the reality is, I think once he's spent more time down there, he's trying to see that there's a solution that matters. What's interesting about that point is he is focused on removing criminal aliens. That's something that Republicans and Democrats can agree on. And the things he talked about are pretty broad and people will agree. It's more the tone on the deportation task force and the wall. He's not going to want to equivocate, but that's where the rub is.
Philip, let me ask you, one of Trump's most outspoken supporters, Ann Coulter, wrote in a new book, quote, "There's nothing Trump can do that won't be forgiven except change his immigration policies." Can he afford to soften on this issue of immigration?
Well, I think there's still a big question out there, the extent to which he may be softening. I mean, he certainly has tried to have his cake and eat it too over the course of the week. I think, though, that there's been some consideration of whether or not his core base of support, and again, he rose to his status in the Republican field based on immigration. I don't know that it's going to cost him a lot with his base. I think his base, those who are most worried about this will see this as an attempt to try and win election in November. I think there will be a big chunk of them that do. I mean, but, you know, to Ms. Sanchez's point, what he needs to do is consolidate his support among college-educated Republicans. Among everyone else, he's doing worse with them than Mitt Romney did, than past Republicans have. This is an attempt to reach out to them, which polling suggests is probably the best way to do so.
And Leslie, Donald Trump, as you know, has been trying to reach out to minority voters. He sparked some controversy online, though, Saturday when he tweeted this: "Dwayne Wade's cousin was just shot and killed walking her baby in Chicago. Just what I have been saying. African Americans will vote Trump." What do you make of that, Leslie?
Well, I know there were two tweets associated with that, another one in which he sends his condolences to the family. Look, this is not an articulate way to express an idea and move forward a set of policies that can help communities of color. If you want to have a debate about failed policies on the right and the left, and certainly the Democrats hold a lot of the responsibility in many of these cities that have failed not only African Americans, but Latinos and the working families and the poor families, that's a very fair point. But the way he does this is what gets people wringing their hands. It's borderline offensive, and it really takes and distracts off a bigger issue, and that is unifying the GOP.
Philip, Leslie had mentioned that second tweet. Let's go ahead and show our viewers that tweet again, where Donald Trump, about an hour after that first tweet, said, "My condolences to Dwayne Wade and his family on the loss of Nikia Aldridge. They are in my thoughts and prayers." Right. I mean, it's interesting to note the two different tones, seemingly, of these tweets. What do you think sort of the significance of that is?
Well, I mean, it's, you know, we do a lot of trying to read the tea leaves on Donald Trump's tweets because it's one of the main ways it communicates, right? It's where, you know, people have noted that Trump usually tweets from an Android when it's him, and this second tweet came from an iPad, right? I mean, so this is what I'm talking about. I think it's clear, though, that Donald Trump has a style and that style has not helped him grow his base of support, and therefore the people who are new to his campaign team are trying to change his style to some extent.
You think there was a campaign staffer on that second tweet, perhaps?
I think it's a pretty safe assumption. You know, and I think that that's the right political move, is to do that. I think it would have been better for him to do the condolences tweet first as opposed to the second one. I don't think a lot of this makes a big deal, you know, over the course of the campaign, but I think it does speak to the fact that Donald Trump continues to have, as much as he talks about wanting to reach out to black voters, I think he's continuing to show that he hasn't really mastered that.